Hey everyone, Happy New Year! Happy 2020, happy decade. My name is Heather Marzigliano and I am from Grace on Broadway. I'm here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, which even includes this Wednesday at 4 o'clock, right? I wasn't here last week because it was Christmas and Christmas was crazy for me. I have 2 kids and a big family, so we were traveling and doing all that stuff, but I'm here today and I thought it would be fun to start all of this with all new stuff. So we have a new project, we have a new year, we have a new decade, and I'm gonna do a new giveaway. And it's all gonna start today. And it's gonna go through next week, the giveaway for sure, and the project. The project may actually take us a couple weeks, but that tends to happen, and each week we have a new lesson and a new thing that we go over. So I see that people are just starting to come on. Again, I'm Heather from Grace on Broadway, which is in Pennsylvania. Hey Royce, I'm going to be using some of your papers, not today, next week, but I'm going to show them today. All right, so this is the piece that we're going to be working on. It has 4 smaller drawers. This one likes to stick, so we're gonna have to do something about that. Oh, New Jersey, that's not far. Not far at all. So it has 4 small drawers. So we're going to probably off camera, because today I wanted to do all the introductions and get all our plans set out and all that. This is going to have to be cleaned first, right? So we're going to clean it to determine whatever it is that, that needs to be done next. Cleaning is always first. So we clean for multiple reasons. We really want to see what's there and what we're working with and uncover all the stuff, right? And the only way to know what you're working with is to really be able to see it. So that's one of the reasons we clean. Then we have to clean for good paint adhesion. You don't want your paint sticking to dust or dirt or any of that stuff. So we want to clean for good paint adhesion. But also sometimes when you clean, it's a good indicator of whether your piece is going to bleed or not. Because if you're cleaning something and it's consistently, no matter what you do, now you clean it 3, 4, 5 times, and it's still dirt, it's not dirt, that's tannins. So those are the 3 main reasons that I start with cleaning, right? It's just always good practice to make sure you clean your piece really well. And to clean our pieces, I use Dixie Belle White Lightning. And that's what it is. If you guys have not seen it, it is a granule that you pour into a hot bucket of water. I use a rag. Some girls can spray it on with like a sprayer and then wipe it back. I feel comfortable actually grabbing a rag, dunking it in, cleaning my piece really well. Then what I do is I take another clear bucket with clear water, just fresh water, and I wipe it all back with a clean rag. That's my process of cleaning. That's what we're going to end up doing. That's going to show me, again, if it's a bleeder. If it's a bleeder, we're going to put Boss. If it's not, it feels like there's plenty of grit that I'm not going to probably need Slick Stick, but I could change my mind. I don't think we're going to need it, because as I'm going like this, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I feel there's grit to it, right? It's not super slick, super shiny, like no pores, glass feeling. Like if you were sitting with me, I would make you feel this with me. I'm sorry that live video, I can't make you run your fingers, but there's an absolute texture. So just painting should be fine as long as this doesn't bleed when I'm cleaning it. Then what I thought we would do, real quick, just so you guys could see, if it becomes one of those bleedy kind of things, what I'm going to put on is Boss, and I'm going to use the clear one. And all you're going to want to do is shake it up good. Just like any paint product, anything, you want to shake it. Make sure everything is congealed and working right. And then I'm going to paint 2 thin coats. If it needs it. We'll find out. then what I thought we would do is, I kind of looked around my shop, and I'm doing a lot of like super feminine pieces, so I wanted to, this feels like it could be, I don't know, a little bit more masculine, not over the top masculine, and that was like my original thought in my head. So I went, and we have this nice section here, and I wanted to do something with it because here we have these great pieces of hardware and they're kind of blocked off already, but here it's just this nice square, well, rectangle space that's, you know, got squared edges and relatively flat. So I wanted to do something with it. So I started looking in my stock to figure out what I had, what could be awesome, and I have recycled papers. So we're going to be doing some decoupaging. So I have this paper. It's like blueprints. How cool is that? Right? That's going to be awesome. I think so. So we can either start it this way, but I think I'm going to start it this way though. One sheet is going to be enough to do the whole front. And I'm going to lay this in just in these portions from here to here. Here's the sheet a little bit closer. Ready? I'll scroll it so you guys can see it. Okay. So this is where I started my inspiration. So then I have to come up with the color, right, and all that stuff. So these are blueprints, and looking at it, there's yellows, there's whites, there's browns, and then there's this like this section here. Hopefully the color will come through, but it's like this blue black. I don't know if you guys can see how like blue black it is. So I want to pull the blue out of this blue black color. So I decided to do in the navy. And I think if I put them next to each other, you'll be able to see how it's going to be able to pull the blue out of those colors. So this piece is going to be in the navy for sure, with blueprints of gears going down the center. And then I figured, since we're working with gears, why not add some would you bend gears? So I have this package that has all the gears in it. I'm not sure where we're going to put them, but we're going to put these somewhere, right? Like that could be super cool. So the elements that we're going to work with, 100% for sure, are going to be decoupage. We're going to paint. We're going to would you bend. There is a leather top to the table, so we're going to be doing something with the leather top. Haven't quite decided. I just kind of picked out these elements. I'm toying with the idea of getting rid of this hardware and adding the card catalog pulls. I'm not 100% sold. I'm kind of 50-50. My only thought is that the shape of the gears and a lot of things in the blueprint are round, and these gears are round and these are round. So I'm kind of liking that everything is really kind of pulling together and all has that round look to it. So we might keep them, and we might just embellish them with some metallics or stuff like that. So these are all the fun things we're going to be doing. You guys are a 101 group, so I usually start at the very beginning and clean with you guys and go all the way through a project. However, I've done the cleaning before, so I don't know that I have to clean with you guys again. So I think when we come back next week, I'll already be prepped to start painting. Or I may even have the first coat of paint done so we can just dive right in to the decoupage. I use Dixie Belle clear coats to do my decoupaging, so I think that is my plan. So I will either be starting with paint next week or starting with decoupage next week. But this is going to be our first project of the decade. How cool is that? Do you guys have your first projects picked for the decade? Have you picked them? Have you started them? That's so fun, right? Like this right now, right here, is my first live of the decade. That's awesome. Hey Deborah, Happy New Year. So I'm super excited to see what this year and what this whole decade brings. I think that New Year's is a really good time, obviously, for reflection and for goals. I don't call them resolutions, I call them goals, because to me, when it's a goal, you give it more thought, it's more planned out. Like you sit down and you have intention, at least I do, and I come up with realistic ways to make that happen, and I feel like a resolution is just like a fleeting idea. So I like to come up with real obtainable goals for me and my business and my children. And this is going to segue right into our giveaway, our first giveaway of the year. So I have the entire flea market home decor line, the whole thing. So all the colors. This is a line that Dixie Belle created with flea market home decor. And there's 6 colors. So that's the prize. Oh, we're out of camera range. Well, you guys can sort of see them, right? There's 6 colors. Let me scrunch it up a little bit so you can see all the colors. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Ta-da! All 6. So, one of my New Year's goals, well, now I'm like way too high and it's weird. There we go. All right. My New Year's goal is, I started working and building up my YouTube page, and I wanted to do that because a lot of people, like, I'm live here, I'm live on Dixie Belle's page, I go live on Grace, I make smaller videos kind of all over the place. So I wanted to create a place where everybody could go and get all the videos, or if I did a series and they caught, you know, video 2 or part 3, they could go and find it. So we built my YouTube channel and we're continuing to grow it and get everything on it. So my goal is to build awareness and get people over there. So it is Grace on Broadway is my YouTube channel. I will put a link in the video. So what I would love for you guys to do for yourselves, so you get alerts when I have a video up, and also so you can find all of them, is to head over there and subscribe to it. And then next Wednesday at 4, when we start this, I'm going to pick a winner from my new subscribers on my YouTube channel, and that person is going to get all 6 colors. So that's our first giveaway of the decade. So fun. Okay. Don't you girls get a day off? I do. I took off from my Christmas Eve. I came in to do a live on Dixie Belle's main page, and I haven't been back in my store until now. So that's actually the longest I've taken off in like 5-6 years by my choice. This year I have a lot that we're doing. Pam Haskins and I are the founders of the Bells and Bow Tour that's coming up in Atlanta on January 18th, and we did our first stop in New Jersey on November 4th. So I had a lot planning that. My husband and I own a big vintage market that we put on in New Jersey. I do a lot of local events, plus I have the main brick and mortar store. I have 2 co-ops. I have a lot going on all the time, and I have kids, and I just kind of hit a wall where being creative was even being not tricky, but it wasn't as just right in the forefront of my head. Like today when I walked in and decided what's going to be my first project, as soon as I saw this, the image of it and the pieces popped together in probably like less than 5 minutes. what I wanted to do. And I think because I was getting very tired, it just took longer and longer to think of those things or get myself to do it. And that can't happen. Like, my creativity is my job, right? So I think the lesson of this year, it was listening to myself, right? You have to listen to yourself when you get tired, whether it's one day or 10 days or a whole year worth of tired. And for the first time in years, I literally took over a week off, and we really took it off. Like, we did Christmas at my house, and I went to my aunt and uncle's house, and we certainly visited family in between. But there was a lot of days where I literally sat in my favorite chair, and I had a book series that I started and a cup of coffee, and I just sat and read for days. I mean, I cleaned my house. I built a couple bookshelves. I did all those things that I don't think a lot of us take the time to do, because we feel like we should always be chasing after our goals, and we should always be painting the next thing and posting the next thing. And I saw this meme the other day, and it said artists 500 years ago would paint a picture or painting once every 5 years, and it'd be like a masterpiece. And artists of today don't create a new art in a week, and they think people are going to forget them. And it really felt true for me, because there's always that pressure of the next thing you're doing. And I think even on a smaller brick and mortar level, you have to keep your inventory up. But sometimes you get tired, and that affects all that stuff. So my whole point in that whole long, yes, I took a vacation, was to say, make sure part of your life and your work and your art and your craft is taking care of yourself and your family. And I took that time off, and I wasn't sure how it was going to be. But guess what? I'm here, and my store is still here, and you guys are still here, and the paint is still here, and everything is here. So it's going to be awesome. So, oh, you already went and subscribed. Thank you so much. So my personal goals for 2020 for sure, besides, my YouTube channel, we just went over that. That's why we're doing that. Is honestly just to learn to listen to myself more, and when I need to take a break, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour or reading that book at night, it's important. So that's mine. I would love to hear yours. That would be super exciting. I thank you guys for being with me while I'm chatting all about how I was tired, but it happens, and I think it's relatable. So I wanted to share that. Burnout is real. Getting tired is real. Losing your creative focus can happen, and it's not worth it. So if you're feeling tired, take the day, take the week, take the hour. You'll feel much better when you come back. And I'm so excited to be back. My kids go to school tomorrow, and everything goes back to normal, and I'll be back in my store bright and early, flipping the open sign and painting all day, and I can't wait. So next week, just a super recap for people who might have come on, I'm going to do the cleaning and some of the prep work, so you guys don't have to see that part, only because we've done it before a bunch of times. Where to subscribe? On YouTube, it's Grace on Broadway. And when the video's done, I'll make sure I put a link. So I'm going to do the cleaning and the prep work, and I'm going to pull off all the hardware and get this ready to go. This is going to end up being painted in the navy by Dixie Belle, and we're going to use Recycled Treasures paper. This is the blueprint one. We're going to put that down the center here, in between here and here, from here to here. And then we're going to go with the whole geared theme and add some would you bend gears kind of about a bit. I'm feeling like we might add some Midnight Sky in a little bit too, but this is all what we're going to kind of be working on next week. So, and that's going to be our first project of 2020. You guys help me and you're here for my first live of 2020, and now my first giveaway for 2020, like I said, is if you guys go over and subscribe to my YouTube, I'm going to give away my entire line of flea market paint. So that is birchwood, market green, reclaimed barn, patina, aged ivory, and golden yellow to one person who has subscribed between now and next week at 4 o'clock when I'm live here. So I'm going to announce it here next week. So pop over, subscribe. You'll get the benefit of all of my videos in one space and knowing when they're there. And you also might be able to win. So I will be going over all the comments for the rest of today and this week in case you guys have questions or suggestions on our piece for next week. If you want to tell me what your goals are or any of the things or ask me questions, please feel free to. I'm actually going to go scurry so that I am ready for tomorrow. I have to get my kids ready for school and all that fun stuff. Thank you for being part of all of our first things for the year. And I will see you guys next week, 4 o'clock. We're going to dive in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.